You have to earn Marty's trust. That was the most exciting thing for me. Once I earned Marty's trust, and that was maybe, I would say, the third day of shooting, I earned his trust. And he came to me and said, Lorraine, I never want you to hold back any ideas or feelings or anything that you feel that would, you know, tell this story better. And never, and he made that environment very free for me. And we would fight about things. I remember fighting, he said, no blue jeans. And I felt at the end of the movie, Karen Hill would have worn blue jeans. And he said, no blue jeans, he would not have it. We compromised, I wore white jeans. But that was a big thing for him. What else? I felt that Henry would have given her real jewelry. So I wanted real jewelry, just the way the boys wanted real money. Well, I wanted real jewelry. So that was a big thing that we had to figure out who, how, what, you know, because we had all those errors to film. So, you know, you couldn't hold up, you know, all this jewelry for months and months and months. So that was also another thing. But I was very, you know, determined about that. Little things, but little things that meant something to me in portraying Karen. And, you know, between Marty and most, of course, my scenes were with Ray, who, when I watched the movie this morning, and I just fell in love with him all over again. I really did. I have to say, I think he's extremely gorgeous, sexy, exciting man, and I'm sure that the real Henry Hill for the real Karen Hill was all of those things, and I think we got that right. Every day when we walked into hair and makeup, we were Karen and Henry. Right from that get-go, every day. We never left them.
Everything is beautiful. There's nothing to worry about. Then you tell them.
I didn't tell them yet.
What?
Guess what? They're gonna make them.
Producer Irwin Winkler.
I think the character that I see most in the film, strangely enough, is Marty Scorsese, because I think his character, more than anything else, comes out. His own drive, his own wanting to be part of a group of you might say, outcasts, and yet still being very much a part of the establishment. When you look at Marty's career as a filmmaker, he is the most successful, independent film director that has never made a film independently, that has always made a film under the establishment. So he's always been slightly outside of it, and yet always been part of it. So he's very much, I see him more than anybody else. It has Marty's passion. It has Marty's sense of violence, which is always around Marty. Even when you talk to him, you get some of that. And you get some of Marty's need to be accepted. So it's all part of it. None of the characters are as clear to me as Marty is when you look at that film. But of course you have to know Marty to see some of those things.
Robert De Niro.
We have a special way of communicating, and he's always open to any idea. And I don't feel it's just with me. I feel, though we have our own special, unique professional relationship, working relationship, and personal, but that's just the way he is. You know, some directors, when you work with them, all directors have to know how to direct. They have to direct and guide the ship, so to speak. And it depends, and there's a point of making choices where you're going to go this way or that way. And Marty is very easy about those choices in terms of, well, he'll try something. It's not even a question of easy, because if it's wrong, he won't do it. But he's very open. I can't tell you, as an actor, how important that is to get the support from a director. Because at one point, if you work with certain directors, and you can see it in their work, all of a sudden you start closing down. You just start shutting down, and you don't want to do anything. You know, you figure whatever idea you're going to come up with, it's not going to get a good response to, and, you know, okay, I'll just, you know, I'll do it. And with Marty, it's the opposite. You just, the more you come up with stuff, the more enthusiastic he gets, you know, I try not to get into situations with directors who I don't respect. I don't get into situations with people I mean, I have to like them and respect them and follow what they're going to do. Otherwise, there's no point in working with them. There's no point in, you know, it's very hard work, and it's arduous. A lot of it is, and if you're not at least thinking that you're with people who you respect and are trying to help them realize a vision of one sort or another, then there's no point.
Lorraine Bracco.
Marty was always willing to have us try things. Never once did he not encourage us, and never made us feel stupid if we tried something that didn't work. And that was, I think that is one of the geniuses of any director in making their actors feel safe and loved. We rehearsed in the location before we started to film. So that gave us an incredible leeway to know the environment. And so that when we went back to shoot, we had in our head where we were going. So therefore, I would write notes, I know, at night, you know, before I would do this scene. Oh, try this. You know, I would always be working.
Come on, let's grab coffee. Oh, you want to go to dine or what? We'll go to dine over there on the boulevard. Yeah. Oh, good.
Which dine?
Rockwood Boulevard. It's open 24 hours. So. They got Danish there? Yeah, they got everything.
Director of Photography, Michael Ballhaus.
I have done 3 pictures before we did Goodfellas. The first one was After Hours, Color of Money, and then Last Temptation of Christ. So number 4 was Goodfellas. And we had like a long and very close and wonderful relationship, work relationship. So it was obvious that we should shoot this movie together. And when I got the script, like always, whenever Marty sends a script, it's very exciting. And in this case, it was a script that I wouldn't have done with another director, I would say that. Because when Marty sends me a script, I'll do whatever he wants to do, because I know that it's going to be great. It's going to be a Marty Scorsese movie. And I want to do all of his movies. And we tried to do all of them. We didn't succeed every time. But it is a movie that has a lot of violence in it. And I must say it wasn't always much fun to shoot it, because it's a very, very tough subject. And a lot of dead people and a lot of killing and all that. And I normally don't like these kind of movies. But in this specific case, because of Marty, I think it was an important movie to do. This movie was different, it's a different kind of approach to this genre, because normally these guys, like in the Godfather movies, are gentlemen, they are great guys, and you adore them in a way. This shows a different side of this business. And I thought it was very important to do a movie that shows how a guy in his young age could slip into that group of people and become, one of the low guys. And I thought it was very important to show that. I wasn't planning to do a pretty-looking movie, It should have more like a dirty look. Like what we tried is when you walk into a location, like in a bar or a restaurant, I looked at it and said, okay, how this looks here, that's what I want to see on the screen later. So I worked a lot with available lights, with light fixtures. It was not the kind of normal movie lighting that I was planning on this. It was basically trying to keep the same atmosphere that these places had. And I think it worked pretty well. It should never look, in a way, never look lit and never look like beautiful, because it wasn't.
I gave Jimmy the tip and he gave me some Christmas money. From then on, I kept my mouth shut. I knew Jimmy.
Director of Photography, Michael Ballhaus.
This, again, was a fairly complicated shot, because it was a mixture of a crane shot and a Steadicam shot. So what happened is that we had Larry McConkey, who was the Steadicam operator on this movie, who was brilliant, he was the best in those days. He was standing on that crane, and the crane moved closer to the truck, and then he stepped off the crane on the platform and walked into the truck to end up on a close-up of this frozen face of this gentleman, which was very complicated shot. But again, you know, we got it.
When they found Carbone in the meat truck, he was frozen so stiff it took them 2 days to thaw him out for the autopsy.
Executive producer Barbara DeFina.
My favorite part of the process actually is shooting, which is probably odd because it's so stressful, but I find it really immediate. And at the end of the day, you sort of know what you've got and you have a sense of accomplishment and moving on. And I love because there's so many people and the process is so much about who's there and who's working with you, and I enjoy that. Post is you know, a much smaller group of people, takes a lot longer, there's less pressure. I think that's why Marty probably likes that better. He has more control. There's something about the insanity of production that I really like. I mean, it's a great high.
Writer Nicholas Pileggi.
I can't go to the set. I mean, I could go to the set, and I've been on the set, but I decided, I thought you made a movie on the set, but it isn't. You don't make a movie on the set. You play with lights. That's all anybody does. For 2 minutes of screen time, everybody adjusts lights, and you're there for 2 hours adjusting lights, and people want to know who you want in the Jets game. And it's just, you know, and I'm a writer. I should be back writing, and there are things I want to do. So in Marty's case, what we do is he's there. I'm not far away, either in an apartment or a hotel room, and I'm working on my own stuff. I'm working on stuff for the movie. If Marty wants me to add some more to this dialogue, we need more here. So I'm available, and I'm available if he calls. I'll just jump in a car. Somebody will drive me over, so I'm there. But the idea of just hanging around on the set is just, I mean, I just can't do it. I'm not, you know, I'm just not interested in it. There are people who are fascinated by it, you know, the kinds of lights you use and the lenses and this kind of camera and that kind of sprocket, and I'm not there.
Director of photography Michael Ballhaus.
It was not a crazy shoot. We had a pretty long, good schedule. I don't remember exactly, but as far as I recall, it was like 72 days. We went a little over because there were some delays. There were some problems. You know, like always, there's less problem here, problem there. But we didn't like race through it. We were well prepared because Marty had done his homework. I had done my homework. I had an excellent crew. Great guys that I worked with before. So it was going very smooth and well from our side.
The atmosphere on the set was usually pretty upbeat and a lot of fun, a lot of humor, a lot of, you know, sort of dark humor, a lot of gallows jokes, and depending on which actor was on the set, the attitude, the atmosphere would be different. I mean, when Joe was around, Joe Pesci, it was always pretty wild and pretty funny. Bob's a little more subdued. Ray, you know, is just a great guy to work with. He was just always there, always on, always ready, and sort of even, but also a great sense of humor. So it was a pretty good shoot. I mean, there was a lot of pressure. We didn't have much money. We were over schedule a little, not very much, but we were over. Marty had just a ton of setups to do every day. And if you study the movie, you can see the camera's moving a lot. There are a lot of different angles. And he wanted to get it all. And I think Michael Ballhaus helped him. And I think pretty much he did get what he needed. And I would think he's happy, certainly technically, with it.
There is nothing unfilmable for me in a way, because you can do anything you want. It's just sometimes it's a matter of time, money, but everything is possible. And the director would never hear from me, I can't do it, or I don't want to do it, or it's not possible. It doesn't exist in my vocabulary.